Hi, I'm Shane Hallam. I'm going to be doing some YouTube videos talking about 2010 NFL Draft, some of the prospects upcoming, and this is just going to be me talking about these guys. So if you want clips of players, all that, you can search YouTube to your heart's content. But right now, it's just going to be me talking about who I'm interested in, who I think is going to do well in draft, who I think won't. So today, I'm going to start out with the top 4 quarterbacks, 2 underclassmen, 2 seniors, and what I think about them, and where I think they're going to end up going next April. So the first guy that I'm going to talk about, and the first guy that probably is on everyone's radar right now, is Heisman Trophy winner Sam Bradford, quarterback of Oklahoma. He's a redshirt junior this year, and a lot of people have him pegged as kind of that number 1 prospect, that guy that's going to make big strides and going to be that top 5 pick, maybe even the number 1 overall pick. Now, I think he's probably going to go there. He probably should go there based on his production. But I think there's a lot of question marks, and personally, I'm not extremely comfortable with him. I would not be comfortable with him as an NFL quarterback. He's the type of guy I could see going very high and having kind of an Alex Smith type of season if he gets on the wrong team and doesn't fit the system. Now, I think he has great accuracy. His arm strength's pretty good, but I think there's a lot of concerns about him in that spread offense in Oklahoma and how that translates to the NFL. I think one of the main things that I'm afraid of if I draft Sam Bradford is he going to be able to handle playing on a bad team behind a bad offensive line? And maybe we'll see that a little bit this year. Oklahoma has to restructure their offensive line a little bit, but they have the guys to do it. They always have the prospects to do it. But when he gets under pressure, he has issues. So I think if he falls into a bad situation in the NFL, he goes maybe to the St. Louis Rams, a team like that really is going to have that top pick and need that quarterback, might start out as a rookie, then I think he could really have issues. The one quarterback I do really like, who is also an underclassman, is Jevan Snead out of Ole Miss. And this is a guy that we'll see what happens. He could have a pretty bad year. People are talking about Ole Miss as a sleeper team, and maybe they'll compete with Florida for the SEC, and that's who we're talking about. So Jevan Snead has a down year. Maybe he won't come out. Maybe he'll have kind of that hardly to say that Cullen Harper type of season where he just goes downhill and has to come back as a senior. But if not, if he progresses how he should, I really like him. He has tremendous arm strength, something you can't teach. He plays in a pro-style type of offense, which is huge going into the NFL. You really can't teach that, and that's going to help him translate the game. He does have to work on his accuracy. He does have to work on his decision-making skills. Throws a lot of interceptions. But you see every year he's gotten better, and he's facing top competition, and he kind of reminds me of maybe what Jay Cutler was like when he started progressing. So I think Jevan Snead can be that type of player for a team. Let's talk about 2 of the guys that everyone wants to know where they're going to go, the 2 top seniors. Now, I've seen Colt McCoy, Tim Tebow, both up for the Heisman last year. Tim Tebow won it 2 years ago. How are they going to do this year? How is this going to happen for them? A lot of people have Colt McCoy right now higher than Tim Tebow. I do not. A lot of people in the DraftNet community think that Tim Tebow is going to fail as an NFL prospect, whereas a lot of people who maybe follow college football and know how great Tim Tebow is there think he's going to be this top 5 pick or something. He's not going to be a top 5 pick, but I'll tell you right now, Tim Tebow will go in the first round. And this isn't based on his ability per se, but it's based on his intangibles. He's been able to lead this team to one national championship last year and aid them a few years ago when Chris Leak was the main quarterback there. He's really taken the team on his back at times. And though he doesn't play in a system that is high profile or that translates well to the NFL, I think Tim Tebow does have what it takes in the right situation to make it in the NFL. Now, he can't start as a rookie. He can't start as a second-year player, probably maybe not even as a third-year player. But if he gets picked late in the first round, mid to late, can sit for a little bit, and then find his groove, I think we can see Tim Tebow be a successful NFL quarterback. And obviously there's a lot of things he has to work on. His arm strength is okay. His accuracy has improved a little bit, but it's definitely not anywhere close to where Sam Bradford or even Jevan Snead or Colt McCoy are in terms of accuracy. He can run the football, and if the Wildcat sticks around this year, we'll see what happens. He can definitely be used in those situations easily. But when we look at Tim Tebow, we want to see how is he going to be able to pass the ball. Is he going to be able to handle a pro-style offense? Because he plays strictly from the shotgun. He really hasn't taken a snap under center at all. And how is that going to work for him? Well, it's something he has to learn. That's something that he's not going to have. And hopefully he can go to the Senior Bowl. Hopefully he can work at it there Hopefully he can work at it in private workouts and with a trainer, and we can see how that happens throughout. But he has those intangibles, and that's what's going to get him into the first round. Because Mark Sanchez, when he came out, he has a lot of issues. Mark Sanchez still has a lot of issues that got kind of covered up because he dealt so well with the media. He was kind of suave, and people really took to him. And that's what people are going to take Tim Tebow. He's a great high-character guy, and a guy that teams are looking for right now. So I think there will be a team that will take a chance on him. There will be a team that hopefully can sit him. I was hoping Carolina would have a first-round pick. I think that would be the best situation for him to sit behind Jake Delhomme for 2 to 3 years. But unless they trade up now, it doesn't look like that's a possibility. So for Tim Tebow, I think he's going to be successful. I'm going to stake that out right now. I think he's going to be a successful NFL quarterback, but we'll see where it ends up happening. And then the last guy is Colt McCoy. Most people have him as a top senior quarterback. Colt McCoy is not a first-round pick, and the reason is strictly based on arm strength, just about. He doesn't have NFL type of arm strength. Now, look, we've seen plenty of quarterbacks be successful without major arm strength. We saw Chad Pennington, post-surgery, last year in the Dolphins, lead them to the playoffs when they were a number 1 overall pick type of team. So maybe Colt McCoy can be successful, and that's fine. And I wish him the best, but I'm not really sold that he's going to be an NFL starter. I think he'll be a great NFL backup for years and years and years in the NFL, but I think that's strictly as far as he's going to go. Because when we look at Colt McCoy, we see that he really focuses on those short passes, and there's a lot of NFL teams now that are moving to that. If you look at situations like New England, like Arizona last year, maybe like Denver, Kansas City coming up, that Colt McCoy could fit well in those systems and could play well in those systems. But for the majority of NFL teams, they're just going to kind of bypass him because he doesn't have the arm strength to really stretch the field. And when that doesn't happen, defenses can really adjust. You look at a player like Brett Favre, who last year wasn't extremely effective. Let's be honest, Brett Favre wasn't the Brett Favre of old, but teams knew he had the arm strength to beat them deep. So they couldn't stack the box. And so we saw Thomas Jones have a breakout year. When Favre was in Green Bay, look at all the running backs that succeeded in Green Bay that did nothing afterwards. Ryan Grant, look what he did, and we'll see, if he can continue that. But teams couldn't stack the box, and if he goes to Minnesota this year, what's Adrian Peterson going to do? So with Colt McCoy, teams can do the opposite. Instead of having to back up, they can stack the line. They can have those 9 guys in the box, 8 guys in the box, and really focus on that running game. And then if it is a passing play, they'll still be in range of what Colt McCoy can do. So that's why I think Colt McCoy is going to have some issues. That's not something that's going to improve. You can't just boost your arm strength all the way up or anything. So Colt McCoy still has to learn under pro-style offense as well, and I think there's just going to be a lot of things that weigh down on him, things that we're going to see throughout the pre-draft process that's really going to hinder him. So that's really the quarterbacks, the big 4 for this year. I'm sure we'll see new people emerge. We do every year. For me last year, I was extremely high on Matthew Stafford, top of my board all the way through, and ended up going number 1. I think he's going to be a great, great NFL quarterback, even with Detroit. So a lot of people are jumping on that Sanchez bandwagon and have before. I'm not one of them. I'm still going to stick with my boy Matthew Stafford, and so I think he's going to be the success of this past year's draft. And if I see a quarterback that matches up with him the most, it is Jevan Snead out of Ole Miss. So don't be surprised if there's a little bit of competition between Snead and Bradford for that top spot. I think Bradford will still win it just because he has that whole kind of package that teams look for. He has the size, he has pretty good arm strength, he has pretty good accuracy. So he has that full package that you look for, but he's still not polished, and I think he could still really get hit under pressure. And then that's the biggest thing, is if he plays behind a bad offensive line, what's going to happen? Because we saw it with David Carr, we saw it with Tim Couch, we saw it with all these quarterbacks that have failed in the past, that you put them in bad situations and they can't develop into NFL passers. Whereas if they would have been on a better team, who knows? Who knows what these guys could have done? They would have had better coaching and a better offensive line, a better team. Maybe they'll be top 5 quarterbacks today, but now they're out of the league. So I think that may end up happening with Sam Bradford or in Jevan Snead, who I think can adjust. So that's really all I have for you this time. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to message me on YouTube. Leave an email, shanephhallam@gmail.com. But for now, I am out, and thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll probably come back with some more stuff about more positions, maybe go over some teams in the college football season. Thanks. Bye.